Well, as I mentioned, the story that we got into, in fact, have been into for a few months, is now kicking off in the legacy media as well. The idea that lawyers, for some reason, have to have compulsory training in Tikanga Māori, which means I kind of think Māori etiquette, what's right in a cultural sense for Māori, I don't know, it's like sending lawyers to a finishing school where they walk around with a book on their head. Or with a ruler down their back. It seems weird and it doesn't seem legal. And then, of course, we had Kylie Quin, the Dean of Law at AUT, having a crack at the person who took a totally legal and proper complaint about this. Kylie Quin, who supposedly is training young legal minds, calls Gary Judd KC. She calls him a racist dinosaur and wishes for his death or wishes for his life to be ended, which is just bloody outrageous. The whole thing's outrageous. And whilst I don't want to stoke the outrage, I think we need to have a discussion about this. And joining us now from Hobson's Pledge to discuss this is Don Brash, former leader of the National Party. Don, good morning to you.
Good morning, Sean.
And we got Don. Okay, we've got a slight delay there for some reason. We'll try and sort that out. Don, firstly, Jane Kelsey has come out arguing strongly that the compulsory tikanga Māori in law degrees is a really good thing and it's all wonderful and it's the way of the future. Do you agree with that view?
But of course I don't. Gary Judd had written an article which was in fact what prompted Kylie Quin to make her attack on him, arguing very strongly the case that it was not law and should not be part of the law, and argued therefore against having a mandatory course in Tikanga Māori for all law students starting from next year. That is an important issue. The real issue, of course, with Kylie Quin was that the dean of the law school at AUT, who should be balanced and educated and so on, far from engaging on that issue of substance, defaults to abuse, calling Gary Judd a racist dinosaur, as you say, and urging him to go die quietly in the corner. I mean, that is an appalling abuse of her position, and I would have thought unless the Vice-Chancellor of AUT pulls her into line, the damage done to AUT's reputation is enormous.
Well, we've had complete crickets from Kylie Quin and from AUT so far in regards to this. And it was interesting, I looked at the coverage of this in the Herald this morning. Kylie Quin's comments aren't even mentioned. They seem to, as I said, pass the ball on to Jane Kelsey to argue in support of the compulsory tikanga Māori. Which, to your mind, is the more important issue now? The behaviour and the suitability of Kylie Quin to hold a senior academic position, or the initial issue, compulsory tikanga Māori for law students?
Well, of course, that's the major issue. I agree. And it's what Gary Judd's article was about. He said, look, there's no basis for calling tikanga Māori a system of law. It is a system of customary rights and so on, but it does not have the status of law. And that's the substantive argument which has to be joined. I absolutely agree with that. I disagree, of course, therefore, fundamentally with Jane Kelsey on that issue and a number of other issues. But that is the important issue to debate. Though, in my mind, the answer to the debate is really not a very complex one. It cannot be accorded the status of law in any meaningful way. Now, having said that, I'm not a lawyer, and 3 of the Supreme Court justices have said it is something which should be part of the law, which astounds me. But that is one issue to be debated. The second issue is whether the AUT can have any credibility at all if their dean of the law school makes insulting personal comments of the kind she's made. I mean, it's absolutely outrageous.
Yeah, no matter what the profession was, that would have been out of line for a senior academic in any field, one would have thought, Don.
Absolutely.
Mm.
And
Look, while I've got you here...
Yeah, go ahead.
Look, I was just saying, the other issue that is kicking around at the moment, we're talking to Winston Peters at 7:45 this morning. This speech that went largely unreported in the House from the Te Pāti Māori MP, who claimed that the government is on a mission to exterminate Māori. I'm amazed she didn't use, the term genocide, to be honest. But in the context of what we're talking about with Kylie Quince, and a context where MPs and supposedly elected representatives are using that sort of rhetoric, it just seems to me that it is way too easy these days to basically over-egg things, to make outlandish claims and have them reported and no one bats an eyelid on. And it's not just on issues of race or Māori, it's on all sorts of issues. We seem to be talking way past the truth in many areas in New Zealand.
Yes, I saw that particular speech reported, or rather not so much reported, I saw the video of it from the House. Outrageous comments, and why she wasn't dumped on from a great height by the Speaker, not entirely clear. It was an extraordinary comment to make. To claim that the government is out to exterminate Maori is just ridiculous. I mean, 35% of the cabinet, for crying out loud, are Maori. Why would the government be trying to exterminate the Maori race? I mean, it's just outrageous stuff.
But equally, she might say, I'm exercising my freedom of speech. This is what the Māori Party stands for. But it seems to me, too, we have no collective societal sanction. No one seems to get outraged about someone saying something, that untrue, that hurtful, and that stupid.
Yes, and indeed, if the boot was on the other foot and someone got up and said, look, the Maori race are X, Y, and Z, and shouldn't be around, I mean, people would jump on him from a great height. I mean, it just would be intolerable.
Yeah. Don, what's the answer to all this? I'm going to make a prediction here. AUT will not respond or not say anything about Kylie Quince. She'll be left entirely alone because she seems to be one of a group of people who are, I don't know, the privileged woke. What happens to our institutions if we ignore outrages like this?
Well, they get gradually depreciated, I guess is the right word. People have less and less respect for them.